Welcome to Flutter Teacher. In last video, we have seen what is variable and different ways in which variable can be created in the Dart. In this video, we will learn what are the differences for creating variable using var and dynamic keyword. So without wasting time, let's get started. I hope you guys might know in Dart there are three ways in which variable can be created. First one is using the type annotation. Second is using var keyword, and third is using the dynamic keyword. In this specific video, we will learn what are the differences of creating a variable using var and using the dynamic keyword. Let's get the first one. Var is just a keyword, it is not a type. So make sure that using var we can create a variable, but var is not actually a type in the Dart. On the other hand, dynamic is a keyword and it is actually a standalone type. Now, what's the meaning of this statement? To understand this, let's jump to the Dart pad. Consider I want to define a function called test, and here I want to specify return type of test as a var. Now you can see when I specify return type of this test as a var, this Dart pad is giving me the error the return type cannot be a var. It means var is just a keyword. Using it, we can create the variable, but it cannot be used as a return type because it's not actually a type. When I specify dynamic as return type in the test, it's completely fine in the Dart pad. The reason here is dynamic is a keyword that allows me to create a variable as well as it is a standalone type. That's the reason I can specify it as return type. When you create a variable using var keyword, Dart performs static type checking over your variable by using the Dart analyzer. It means whenever we assign value in the variable or we perform operations over the variable, each and every time Dart analyzer keeps a track of your variable activities. On the other hand, when we create a variable using dynamic keyword, Dart won't perform any static type checking on your variable. In fact, when you create a variable using dynamic, you are telling a compiler that you don't want to continue with static analyzer. That's the reason Dart performs simply runtime checking when you have a dynamic keyword instead of using the static type checking. In case of mismatching the values or performing wrong operations for the variable, Dart simply gives compile time error for a var types of variable. On the other hand, when you perform wrong types of assignment or wrong operations over the variable with dynamic, Dart gives you the runtime exception instead of showing the compile time errors. To understand both these statements, let's jump again into the Dart pad. Now you can see in this example, I have variable x which is created using var keyword and I have assigned value 10 here. So this variable is simply of type integer using the concept called type inference. Y is another variable which is created again using var keyword assigned with the value hello. So in this case, y is actually of type string, and now if I write print x plus y, now you can see when I write this statement print x plus y, Dart pad is giving me the error. The reason is I'm trying to perform invalid operations on this variable because x is of kind integer and y is of type string. So I cannot perform addition of int with the string. That's the invalid operation I'm performing. Now the interesting thing here is when I'm performing operations, even at a compile time, Dart analyzer is giving me these types of error. So this is what happens if I create a variable using var. Now let's change it to dynamic. Now you can see when I make x and y dynamic, here in print x plus y, there is no error. In fact, when I run it, I will get the exception runtime. So it says invalid argument hello. So I got exception, but make sure that there is no compile time error because of this dynamic keyword. Consider one more example. Here x is a variable created using var keyword. Value 10 is assigned to it. It means x is of type integer using the concept called type inference. Here, when I write x dot to uppercase, in this case, that compiler gives me compile time error because to uppercase is the method only available for string and not for the integer. So that gives me compile time error for this kind of operations. On the other hand, if I have the same variable x with dynamic keyword assigned with the value 10, in this case also, x is a variable of type integer. When I write x dot to uppercase, it's completely fine during compile time. That won't give me any compile time error just because my variable is made using dynamic. But when I run this program, I will get runtime exception. So that will be performed by Dart runtime type checking. Now I'm moving to very important difference between var and the dynamic keyword. For that, let's again jump to diagram. Now consider this example. In this case, we have variable x which is created using the var keyword assigned with the value 10. So when I'm assigning value 10 in this variable x, this x variable will be treated as variable of type integer using the concept called type inference. When I assign value 20 in the x is completely fine. The reason here is x is of type integer and 20 is a value of type integer. So it's completely fine if I have the same type of variable and same type of value here. When I run this program, you can see using x.runtime type, it gives me integer. Now, when I try to perform, x is equals to hello, that is I'm assigning string value in the x, or I'm trying to assign double value in the x. In both line number 5 and 6, I'm getting the error. The reason here is when I create a variable with var keyword, make sure that the value that you assign in the variable first time, let's say in this case, x is assigned with the value integer. So throughout my program, x is now a integer kind of variable. I cannot assign value other than int in the x. So if I assign int value like this x equals to 20, it's perfectly fine. But if I try to assign string value, double value or any other value than integer, I will get the error. So make sure that the variable created using var is actually a fixed type of variable and that type will be decided with the value that you assign first time with variable. Now look at this example where I have created the same variable x using the dynamic keyword. So x is assigned with the value 10 and now I can assign the value 20 to x. It's perfectly fine. And here if I run this program, you can see for line number 4 it is giving me the type as integer because x is holding the integer type of value. That's the reason I'm getting int in the output. Now as this variable is made using dynamic, it's perfectly fine to assign string type of value. So for line number 7 it is giving me the runtime type as the string. For line number 9, it's again perfectly fine to assign double type of value with the x, and here I'm getting the runtime type as the double. So make sure that when you create a double type of variable, you can assign any kind of value in that variable. So it's not the fixed kind of variable. You can say the dynamic variable, as the name suggests, it actually has a dynamic kind of type. Means it's not fixed as your var type of variable. Dynamic kind of variables are very flexible to hold any kind of value in the variable. As per that documentation, it is recommended to use var keyword. It's not actually recommended to use dynamic each and every time. It says use the dynamic only when it's compulsory or it's needed for you. Like for encoding and decoding of JSON, you can use it. So I hope this video has given complete knowledge regarding difference between dynamic and var for you guys. Thanks for watching this video. If you really like this video, then don't forget to like, share, subscribe my channel and hit the bell notification button to get my latest videos.